Just to welcome everybody to our Thursday call here. So I'll introduce myself real quick, just for those of you that don't know me. I think I know some of the people on this call. My name is Chet Lackey, obviously, but I've been doing mortgages for about 25 years. Um, my joke is I started when I was 8, because I hope I don't look that old yet, but I do probably. But just a little bit of my journey. Like literally, I started back when people would grab you off the street and say, "Okay, go write loans." We didn't have to do really hardly any licensing. You just applied with the state, no education. So it was an interesting start to the business. So me and 5 of my buddies were all in our early 20s, and we just started writing mortgages. So it was an interesting introduction to the mortgage. It's one of the things that I love about Summit Funding is that you have lots of mentorship and coaching. I didn't have a ton of that when I started. So I learned a lot of stuff by the School of Hard Knocks, and it's hard for a reason. But I had a great journey within about a year. I started closing quite a few loans. Um, Life was going good. During this time, I have 5 kids. Um, but we did go through the mortgage meltdown of 2008 to 2010. That's part of my journey. Um, we just about got pretty much wiped out, in life. We lost I always tell people it's like a bad country song. I lost my house, I lost my truck, I lost my dog. Literally, I had to give my dog away. But luckily, my wife stuck around, which I think, and I kept my family, and so that was important to me. But we pretty much started over 2010, 2011, and so we just wanted to say how thankful I am for Summit Funding and the coachings that's really helped me get a lot of things in line in life. Okay, but one of the things that I love about mortgages is the freedom that we have, but also it makes it tough sometimes to implement some of the systems. And I'm going to talk a little bit about lead conversion and just the system that I have in place to work with my pre-approved buyers. And it's been a big shift, and I don't know if everybody else has seen this in the last 12 months as interest rates going up, how long people are having, I don't know if we call it buying reluctancy or just taking to go from start to finish. And so systems on your follow-ups, on your pre-approvals is going to be huge moving forward until I think buyers start to finish quicker like they used to. Okay. So Rebecca, if you want to just share that little statistic that I found. When we talk about your leads being gold, like literally this is what we're talking about. Okay. Like every time that you get a lead, that's potentially $4,000 to $5,000 in commission income for you guys. And I don't think we sometimes treat them as such, what they're worth. Okay. So I've been doing sales, like I said, 25 years. But this statistic, this is across the board in sales, not necessarily 2 mortgages, but this is how important making multiple contacts to your clients is. So for your lead conversion, if you're struggling with lead conversion, then you are not making enough contacts quick enough with your borrowers. Because according to this statistic, only 2% of sales are made on that first contact. So that first time you contact that borrower, you're not going to convert too many of those. Okay, 3% of sales are made on that second contact. 5% of their sales are made from the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact, and then 80% of sales are, I would say, 5 to 12 contacts. And sometimes when I look at this is shocking, right? So, but the solution to this is to make as many contacts with your leads as possible, as quickly as possible. So, and I'm not going to go get into what's most effective for the lead contacts, like whether you're doing 3-way text or calls or whatever you do. So you guys need to, we could talk about that some other time, but I'm telling you how important this is in our industry. And I think a lot of us aren't making enough contacts quick enough with our borrowers and to help them make a decision to move forward. Okay. So, Rebecca, you can go ahead and take that off there. Appreciate it. But so that's just something that I wanted to talk about, just the lead conversion, because it leads into your pre-approved borrowers. So now that we have our pre-approved borrowers, and most of the time I'm getting the loan application in that first or second contact, right? And I don't know if that's how most of you guys are, but I would say probably about 50% on my first or second contact, I'm either able to take a loan application or they fill one out online. Preference obviously is to take it over the phone, but sometimes when I call that borrower, they don't have time right then, so I'll send them a link and then I follow up multiple times. So I'll get into, once I have them pre-approved, once I have the application, I try to get them approved, at least a good idea within 24 hours. Like I will tell them, hey, this looks good. Like your credit's good, your job income looks good. Based off the information we have, this is what you'll be pre-approved for if your income checks out. And then I get all the income docs. And we've already talked about how important it is to meet with them in person or over the phone. Okay. But I was real quick going to tell, I like stories, right? And this one's in the Bible, but the parable of the sower, right? So this is probably one of the most frustrating things to us as loan officers. But it talks about sometimes when you're throwing seed out that only a certain percentage of it grows back. And if you think about the parable where it talks about the wheat grows up, those are the ones to me that are quick, they're ready to buy. Those are the ones that we got to focus on first. And I hope you guys are prioritizing your pre-approved borrowers. So if I have anybody that I do that is moving quickly through the system, those are the ones I contact first when I'm doing my calls every Wednesday. I'm making sure the ones that I know that are looking at houses, actively looking at houses, that I'm contacting at least once a week, if not more. And it'll either be through I on Wednesdays, I definitely make a phone call to them every single time, but probably 3 times during that week, I'm sending an email asking them, hey, how's the house searching coming? Can I run payments for you? Or texting them. And I think we forget to do that. We got to keep ourselves on top of mind for our borrowers too, especially when they're actively looking at houses. I'll give you a bad example on this. So I had a guy that I thought was wheat, right? We sowed the seeds. He's ready to go. I went out of town for 2 days. When I get back a hold of him the following week, he just ghosts me, right? For 2 weeks. I finally have to call the agent. I'm like, what's going on? And he went somewhere else. Okay. So those happen. That's in this parable and in this story, right? The birds got them, right? The birds get some of the seeds and the people that even we have pre-approved. And so just keep that in mind when you're doing this, but stay in constant contact with your borrowers that are active and actively looking at it. Okay. But like I talked about at the very beginning, I feel like it's taking longer for a lot of our buyers to move from that pre-approved to actually purchasing a house because there's just more reluctancy in the market. And so I have a system that every Wednesday I have a list that I print out. Okay, you can do it through Encompass. That's the recommended way to do it, right? Or if you have them in Jungo, I keep a spreadsheet of them. Like everybody that I have pre-qualified, I have their phone number and I put them down to close that next month because that's generally over my 25 years, usually takes somebody about 30 days to move through that process of having a contract and being ready to move forward. So I print that out, and every Wednesday I will call every single borrower on there. Okay. And I know that doesn't seem like magic, right? But I do that. And like I said, if they're actively looking, I'm also emailing or texting them once or twice during that week. Now the next part is everybody probably has, I don't know how many, but I'm guessing we have about 50 pre-approvals this year that haven't done anything, right? Is everybody probably about the same way? And we can talk about some of the reluctancy during the questioning period. But if I'm 60 days out on that borrower, I'm still trying to contact them every Wednesday. And it may not be a phone call, maybe an email, but I'm staying in touch with them. I have probably closed 5 or 6 loans in the last 90 days from borrowers that we pre-qualified earlier this year. I have one right now that's listing his house and looking at making an offer that we pre-qualified 18 months ago. Okay. But I stay in touch with them. I have a system. I've had more than 1 or 2 borrowers tell me that they're using me because I'm the only loan officer that followed up with them. I have one that I had just put under contract that's a for sale by owner. And we started talking well, that one was about 18 months ago too. Actually went to college with him. I didn't know him very well. We had a couple classes together, but he told me I was the only loan officer that followed up during that 18-month period. And so he decided to go with me. He did shop a little bit, but he said, "Hey, you're the only one that followed up with me." So when I'm going to wrap this back in with that story of the parables, right? So we have some that have wheat and tares, some that are ready, but there's noise out there. They're taking time. They're taking advice from their mom or dad or grandparent, somebody that owns a home that's not wealthy and not an expert in the market, but that's who they take advice from. I like the saying, the birds get them, right? So somebody's chirping in their ear and they're waiting because rates are high. So what I do though too with these ones that are pre-qualified, how many of you are having to tell you they're waiting till March or April? Is there a bunch of those right now too? And so I ask for permission to schedule a time to call them back though. And then I put that on my calendar. So like if they tell me to call them back in February, I put it on my calendar. It pops on that day. So when it has your notices, it tells me to call so and so. Okay. I also ask in my notes, I put the best way to communicate with them. If they want a phone call, if they want a text, if they want an email, I put that in there so I know the best way to communicate with them. The next thing that you guys got to do, the ones that are buyer reluctancy or being slow, is to add value. And so the ways that we can add value as a loan officer is I do like if they're concerned that they're just going to go rent, I do a buy versus rent form. I show them the tax advantages, and if anybody wants to know how to do that, we can, for sure, Rebecca, we can do that some other time. But I'll do that. I also have I'll send out the appreciation history of houses. I talk to them because a lot of people are like, "Oh, if I buy now, rates are high and the values go down." Well, the positive thing in our industry is we have history on our side. We have 100 years of history of houses going up in value. Okay. I generally indicate one of the things that I'm telling people right now, because if they tell me they're reluctant, is I tell them prices are probably down and softer than they have been in the last 4 years. If you're worried about your payment, we do a lot of 2-1 buy downs, but I also am telling them chances are in the next couple of years, rates are going to go down. And then you just refinance when that happens. I don't have a crystal ball, right? I tell them I can't guarantee that. I'm not 100% sure, but I can tell you history's on my side. We also, if you go look at election years, rates drop during election years, and that's one of the things that I can show them and talk about. Okay, so I would use data to overcome any obstacles they have. And during your communication with your pre-approved borrowers, I think it's super important to find out why they're not purchasing right now. So if that's not a question that you ask, so after about 30 days, if they're not making any offers, you need to find out what is holding them up. And then you can use data and information that you can provide to them to overcome that obstacle. And I hope one of my concerns is if you're working with any real estate agents that are telling people to wait, then you need to find a new agent. And there are agents out there. I've heard them and people tell me that, oh, it's not a good time to buy. And then that's when you need to probably say, well, you should probably find a new job, right? Because in my opinion, I also do real estate investing, and there's never a bad time to buy. Okay. And I have history to back me, right? 3% appreciation over the last 100 years. So if I'm going to own this house for 5 years and it's a $300,000 house, I'm going to get $45,000 in appreciation over the next 5 years. And there is no other asset right now that's getting that type of return. I had money in the stock market. I think most of us did, and most of them have taken a beating, right? And so that's to me one of the reasons that I do what I do is because I'm passionate about real estate and owning real estate. And then the last step that I use is know when to step back. Like if you have a borrower that's not moving forward, that's not interacting with you, then I will schedule something with them 90 or days or 3 to 6 months out. And the reason that I talk about that and the parable of the sower is we are looking for the wheat, right? But a lot of us are trying to turn tares into wheat, or we're trying to get seed to grow in unfertile ground. And I don't know if that analogy works too well, but hopefully you guys understand. But I really feel like if you guys are working, if we're working 40 hours a week and we're not closing enough deals, we are spending too much time in areas that do not make us money with clients that do not make us money. And I think I feel like there's a ton of business. I've been blessed the last 6 months, right, with a ton of deals. We've been able to close and stay. Actually, we're closing more the last 6 months than we did last year, right, in this period. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are negative, the market's down, but like we've found business, okay? And one of the ways that we've done it is by staying on top of our pre-approvals. Um, so I'm gonna just real quick point my follow-up system. I schedule a time with them, I meet with them, I schedule follow-up, okay? I go over the best way to communicate with them. I add value through our meeting and through data. I overcome obstacles with data. And then I also know when to step back or give them more time. Okay. And so that's kind of what I've been doing, and it's worked really well for me. I do use that buy versus rent sheet with people that are telling me they're going to wait. And then, like I said, I'm just super consistent. I think the only reason that I'm closing as many deals as I do is I make a lot of phone calls. And honestly, if you're not closing as many as you want, you got to make more activity. And the activity has to increase on this. So that's kind of my presentation part of it. I just wanted to open it up, and since I know Todd, I'm going to pick on Todd. Todd, I just want to do a quick role play with you. You can be my client, and I'm just going to call you as the loan officer. And we've already done the loan application. I'm just doing my follow-up. Okay.
Yeah, sounds
All
good,
right.
man. Let's do it.
All right. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Todd, how are you doing?
Hey, what's up, Chet? How's it going, man?
Good, good. I did really. I threw my back out this week, so I'm doing pretty good. Other than that, I'm walking
Oh my,
like a really old man right now, but
oh
I'm
my
doing
God.
pretty good.
What happened, man?
The worst part is that I just went to bend over and stretch my back out, and it went out. Is that
Oh,
sad?
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that,
True.
buddy.
Yeah, it's the truth, but it's all right. We're getting through it. So hey, I just was following up with you, and we know we have you pre-approved. I was just seeing if you looked at any other houses that you want us to run payments on this week or anything.
Man, I wish. We're really we're looking and we are motivated, but gosh, inventory is low, man. Not much to show right now.
Yeah, no, that can be tough. I get that. I'm in Idaho, we're both in we'll say we're in Tennessee. I know you're in Tennessee. In Tennessee, and I get the inventory's low and everything. Have you asked the real estate or his broker office if they have any pocket listings or any houses they haven't listed yet?
Uh no, what's that, man?
Yeah, so one of the cool things is the real estate agent that you're working with, he is one of the larger brokers here in Idaho or Tennessee. And the cool thing is they'll have houses coming on the market that their brokerage will know about that haven't hit the market. And a lot of times, if you're looking for something specific, if you let your agent remind him, you might, or I could call him and tell him to do it, is just to see if they have any pocket listings or before something that might fit your needs hits the market that they could show it to you.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, I mean anything can help. It can't hurt. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
definitely.
Well, let me reach out to him and just let him know that we'll go over what you're looking for and just see if we can find something off market before it hits market and give you a first shot at it.
Dude, I would love it. That'd be
Okay.
great.
All right. Well, cool. Well, listen, if you do find any other houses, like I said, just text me or call me, and so we can run payments. Um, and we know we got to keep your wife involved because I know she's probably the decision maker on part of it. I know as long as it has a good shop, you're in on that house. But
Yeah.
let me know if whatever we need to run payments or help your wife out on that too. Okay.
Sounds good, Chad. Thanks for checking in, man.
All right, appreciate it. Hey, if I don't hear from you in the next week, is it okay to call you in about 10 days?
Yeah, man, I'm here. I appreciate the follow up.
All right. Well, I'll put that down and do you prefer a phone call or an email or a text?
Yeah, you can just text me and then we can chat if I'm available. I'll just give you a call.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna put that on my calendar. I'll make sure I follow up with you, okay?
Right on, Chet. Sounds good, buddy.
All
Thank you.
right. Thanks, Todd. All right, you guys. So I don't know if that's helpful. That's really my phone calls are pretty quick. I'm pretty straightforward and blunt, right? But that works for me. I definitely think whatever fits your personality and your style, you need to go with. Um, but that's generally how I do it. All my follow-up calls with my lead contacts. I always use my realtor's name who's referred me. I try to edify him. But like I said, that's another topic. Okay. I think I just need to open it up for questions. I haven't done this before, so I'm new at this too. But if anybody has any questions, just unmute yourself, and I'm happy to try to answer them if I know the answer. Or do I have to call people out? No, I'm just kidding.
That was good, dude. Appreciate the everything. I mean, I think it's super. Yeah, like we said, we don't have a crystal ball, and I remember when you said that, something that I've been saying is, we don't know what's going to happen, but most experts would agree. That's kind of one line that I've thrown in there, and then like, there's just we all want rates to come down, but we obviously, real estate is always going to be a great investment. And how long are you going to be staying in this property? If they tell you they're going to be staying in the property for 3 to 5 years, then who cares what the projections are for next year? Because history will tell you that over long periods of time, your investment is going to be a good one if you're buying real estate.
Yeah. Right. And hey, I've read a lot of real estate books. I do a lot of real estate investing, right? There's never a bad time to buy if you make the right offer. Okay. And I know that gets tough when you got home buyers who get emotionally attached because I'm married, and if my wife wants this particular house, she doesn't care about the price too much sometimes, right? And so some buyers are like that, are going to be emotional about it. You have your logical people that is like, hey, payment's the only thing that matters. So, and if payment's the only hold up, then we look at houses that only are offering 2-1 buy downs. So we're doing, and in Idaho, we're able to negotiate those buy downs in the price.
Yeah.
So,
The two
and
one
then
buy down is great. So is the 1-1 buy down or the
yeah,
1-1 buy down.
one
Like,
zero.
some people
Yeah.
don't really realize that there's other options besides the 2-1. A lot of realtors think like the 2-1's the only one that exists.
Yeah. And there's even a 3-2-1
Three,
buy
two,
down.
one. Yeah. Yeah.
That gets tough because there's sometimes you go over the
So expensive. Yeah.
concession with, yeah.
Super
Yeah.
expensive. Yeah.
So, yeah, but you guys, I'm telling you, I'm making more phone calls now than I ever have. And so that's the key. We're focusing, the majority of our business is first time home buyers. And that's what
Hey,
we're focusing on. So,
hey, Chet, I have a question. You said
okay.
you're doing more business in the last 6 months. Have you added some new realtors that you mentioned, hey, get rid of the ones that are like, hey, wait, and where are you finding those new agents that are helping you close some business?
Okay, great question. The answer is yes. I actually lost my biggest agent about a year ago. We were doing like I think I did 10 million with them the year before. She started sending me a couple again, but it was a little bit of a toxic relationship with a couple of our team members. So it's been okay. But so we partnered with a Keller Williams team. Hopefully, I'm just gonna be honest. We pay for a little bit of their Zillow leads, and there's 6 people on their team, and we are averaging 3 to 6 deals a month with them. So it has definitely been worth it. Um, they only deal with there is 2 or 3 other loan officers on their team because they have them participate in their Zillow stuff. So that's been big with me. But let's see, my other agents, I have a couple other agents I just always done business with, and they just they eke out 1 or 2 deals a month. And so that's the other thing I'd say I'd see an uptick in is current client and previous client referrals. I am religious when calling my past clients and asking for referrals. I have a brand new first-time home, like first-time home buyers are the best to get referrals from. I'm telling you guys, because they all know people that rent. And so like I have one I'm closing in Soda Springs, Idaho, small town, 5,000 people. I asked for referrals and they gave me two. Okay. So like, because the way that I ask is the way that Robin kind of taught us that, hey, who else do you know that's renting that needs to buy? And I know in some, like maybe the California market, it's tougher because your starter homes are expensive. But you know, but they're great for giving referrals if you're asking. So that like we've seen an uptick in past clients and current client referrals.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question. Thank you.
Chet, can you go over? I've seen it before with the rent versus own and the appreciation. Is that handy?
Uh, Let me see if I got one. Sorry.
I just kind of like to hear the way you do it.
Grace, do you subscribe to MBS Highway?
No.
Okay. They have a great one that I use a lot, and it's and if you don't subscribe to MBS Highway and you don't have a rate watch or a market watch platform, I've been with MBS for over 10 years. It's awesome. So it's worth the money by far. So if you need one or want one, MBS Highway is awesome.
Okay. Thanks, Todd.
I do this if you can see it. Sorry, Rebecca probably has one somewhere, but not for me. But I handwrite it. I'll have a template like this already handwritten, but I'll customize it real quick for the borrower. And it tells you rent right here on this side. Sorry, and it just says your tax benefits from renting. Tax savings 0, appreciation 0, forced savings 0, big 0 at the bottom, right? So
Okay.
renting bad, buying good, right? So then over here we put the tax savings. They get monthly interest, they get mortgage insurance, they get property taxes. They have forced savings. The forced savings is your principal pay down. So you customize this. If it's a $400,000 house right now, it's probably $400 a month in forced savings. And then appreciation, I go in and look up the average for the last 10 years. So like mine, and this is probably low, it says 4.5%. Like Pocatello's we doubled from 2019 to 2020 probably. So it would be higher there, but so I would look up the average appreciation in the market and put it on here. So it's a $300,000 house. They're at 4.5%. They're gonna get $13,500 a year in appreciation. Okay, and then I'll add that up and tell them, hey, per year you are getting $16,000 in wealth building. And so, which one do you want? Do you want to be a 0? I'm just kidding. I don't say that. Or do you want to increase your wealth by 15,000 plus a year? And so that, yeah, this, and I haven't had to use this a ton because after I meet with my clients are moving forward, I do use it occasionally when they're real estate experts. Their aunt that owns 2 properties is flat broke, but that's who they take financial advice from. Then I'll break it out, when as needed. But seriously, you guys laugh at that, but that's who these are buyers. A lot of them in Idaho take their financial advice is from some aunt or their dad. And I ask them, are they financially well? I'm straight up. Are they wealthy? Well, no. They've rented their whole life. Okay. Was that like, who do you want to follow? You know, like, do you want to be wealthy? And I don't know if you need to say wealthy, but do you want to be broke or do you want to create some financial freedom in your life? 95% of all of the millionaires in the United States, their wealth is held in real estate. 95%. Do you want to be part of the 95% who are millionaires? So I don't know. So I just give them information. I use statistics. If I need to pull out the data, I do it. So
Thank you.
yeah, you bet. All right. Anybody else? Hey, I appreciate everybody. You guys, I know we all have struggles. I've had, I told you about my financial struggles, which is never fun to talk about. Like we owned a couple subdivisions. I always told everybody I was dirt broke by the end because I owned a bunch of dirt and nothing else. So that was, but it's taken us about 10 years. I feel like we're much more stable financially. I've gone through major health issues in the last 10 years and we've been able to push through it, right? I really believe it's just about staying positive. I'm telling my students right now, and anybody on this phone that's struggling, get out of your own way. You are your biggest obstacle right now. You are limiting yourself. Have belief in yourself. So I know a bunch of you on this call, and you're majorly talented and able to accomplish a ton. There is business out there. Just go get it and get out of your own way. Find out the activities that are creating you opportunities to sell more loans and focus on those. Some of the activities that you're doing that are not productive, don't do as much of those. It's really what you got to look at. I hope you guys are analyzing your business every Friday and looking at that stuff a little bit. Okay. So like we're like I made more money this year than I did last year already. And I'm truly blessed. I don't know how. I can't tell you there's a secret bullet, but I am religious on my theme days and I make a lot of phone calls, more than I usually do. I don't love it. Like I get call reluctancy just like anybody else. Like I get burnout just like anybody else. But I go whatever recharges you, go and do that. But that doesn't mean golf every day, Todd. Just once in a while. And you guys get after it. I know you guys can do it. Okay. Appreciate everybody.
Thanks, Chet.
Thanks,
You
buddy.
bet. We'll talk to you later.